Dear friends, there are many types of engines on the Flat Controllers Railway. There are steam engines who burn coal, diesel engines who burn diesel fuel, electric engines who are powered by electricity, and even petrol engines who guzzle on petrol. However, there is one engine on the railway who uses a completely different method of mobility. James didn't really like him at first, but soon he got the last laugh in true Sudrian fashion. The director. One morning, James was grumbling to the other engines. "Why do I have to go to the dirty fuel depot?" he complained. "Where are Donald and Douglas for that sort of work?" "Ugh, Dougie is helping out on Edward's branch line today, and I have got other work to do," said Donald with little patience. "Don't worry, James," chuckled Duck. "I'm sure the countryside will be able to brighten up your smoke box." "Pah, it'll be hard for that with dirty fuel tankers trailing behind me," snapped James, and he puffed crossly away. James mowed all the way to the fuel depot. I don't like it, he winced. He soon arrived at the yard just outside the fuel depot. It was here where he had to stop. There was another line that went deeper into the depot, amongst all the machinery. However, steam engines were not allowed to go down there. "It's regulations," said his driver. "If we go steaming into where the fuel is being refined, sparks from your funnel could set the fuel alight, and that could cause an explosion." James didn't like the sound of that. He waited impatiently for his trucks to be taken away. He soon got rather annoyed. Oh, come on, what are we waiting for?" he wished angrily. "Hey," shouted a grumpy voice. "Quit blowing steam around my yards." James jumped and looked down to see a small yellow engine puffing towards him. He looked like a steam engine, but it appeared he had something missing. "Where's your funnel?" asked James awkwardly. The engine huffed. "I don't need to worry about things such as a funnel, like you coal burners always have to." Before James could answer, the engine butted in again. "I've got some more tankers for you. You can take them away on your return run." James groaned. "Seriously? More dirty old tankers?" The tankers were cross at this, but the funnelless engine just sniffed. "Ha! I know your type. All passengers and no goods. Well, just get out of here, your highness. I hate to see your brass get all sooty." James wished crossly. He switched over onto the other line, coupled onto the other tankers. The strange-looking engine just smirked. "Have fun then," he snarled. "And be careful of that steam coal burner. I don't want to see you go up in flames." "Why do you keep calling me that?" snapped James. But the strange-looking engine was already puffing away. James was cross for the rest of the day. He hated pulling trucks, but he also hated how rude that engine had been. "Ugly little thing," he said crossly to himself. He told Henry about him later that night. He was an ugly-looking thing with no funnel and a bad attitude. He looked more like a tanker than an engine. "No funnel?" repeated Henry, confused. "So was he some kind of diesel?" "I don't think so. He puffed steam like you and I. And he had cylinders, though his wheelbase was back to front." "He's not a diesel," laughed James's driver. "He's a Fireless engine." James and Henry were confused, so James's driver explained. "A Fireless engine is a type of steam engine like you two, but instead of using coal in a firebox to create steam, it instead has a large tank full of superheated water. The superheated water boils in the tank and creates steam so he can move around. I believe the fuel depot use him as he's a lot safer than a regular coal-burning engine. It eliminates any chance of causing a fire. I believe his name is Jonah." James snorted. "Well, that Jonah better not act so cocky next time I go there." Unfortunately for James, his next trip to the fuel depot was too soon for him. A few days later, Douglas wasn't feeling well, so James had to do his run to the fuel depot. When he arrived, he got to meet Jonah again. Well. Didn't think I would see you back here so soon. Thought you were above this kind of work." "I am above this kind of work. snapped James. I'm just filling in for another engine. Ha! Well, be careful, you don't trip a rivet, snarked Jonah rudely. James snorted and blew off steam. Hey, careful, snapped Jonah. One spark out of you can set the whole place off. Honestly, with how hazardous your coal-burning engines are, they should just replace you lot of engines like me. James was furious. Pa, just you wait, Jonah. I'll show you one of these days. Jonah just laughed, and James stormed away. He hoped it would be a very long time until he had to come back to the fuel depot. However, that wouldn't be the case. James, the Fat Controller began, I'm afraid Douglas isn't any better, and Donald is needed elsewhere, so you'll have to do the fuel run again tomorrow. But sir, cried James, I don't want to deal with that Jonah again. He's rude and loud and... James, the Fat Controller said sternly, don't let grudges get in the way of your work. But sir, you will do as you are told, ordered the Fat Controller. And so James said no more. The next day, James rolled into the depot with a train of tankers. He saw Jonah grumbling to himself in the entrance of the yards. He soon stopped when he saw James coming. James looked at Jonah, which made the Fireless engine rather uncomfortable. What are you looking at? He snapped at last. I'm just waiting for you to say something insulting, smirched James. Jonah just grunted and looked down at his buffers. Jonah's driver came over and spoke to James's. Jonah's ran out of steam, he sighed. His boiler pressure is fallen, and we can't reheat him. Is it possible that your engine could supply some steam for him? Of course, said James's driver. Anything to help. Soon, a long hose was attached from James's pistons into Jonah's tank. James's fire burned brightly as he puffed steam into Jonah's boiler. James tried his best not to laugh at Jonah's sour expression. It's not funny, he snapped. You alright? Laughed James. It's hilarious. Jonah seethed in silent fury. It wasn't long until Jonah had raised enough steam, and he was soon able to move around again. He silently shunted James's tankers, and got him some other tankers of fresh fuel. Well, chuckled James. What was it you said about engines like you replacing us coal burners? Jonah just grunted, and rolled away with his tankers of fuel to be refined. James doesn't visit the fuel depot as much anymore. He still sees the work as dirty and unsuitable for an engine like him, but on the odd occasion when he does go there, he has been quick to notice a change in Jonah. While he's still grumpy and standoffish, he doesn't make rude comments about coal-burning engines anymore. Even Jonah thinks that they have their uses, though he would never admit it.